BC clearly needs a new basketball coach, even with a win last night. But should they wait until they have a new president to make that move? Something worth discussing.
You are Locked On Boston College, your daily podcast on the Boston College Eagles. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. This is Locked On Boston College. I'm your host, AJ Black of Eagle Insider, part of the 247 Network. I've been covering Boston College for over a decade. If you're looking for BC news, analysis, and details on your Eagles, you are in the right spot. Locked On BC is a free daily Boston College podcast available on YouTube or wherever you get your podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. Have your cake and drink it too. Birthday cake flavor is back. No fork needed. Vanilla cakey flavor, caffeinated kick, and no sugar. It's party time. Order now at 5 Hour Energy or on Amazon. All right, on today's show, we're going to get to know another freshman, running back Cedric Addison. I'll explain about him. The biggest official visit of the season has been announced. I'll explain why this is the biggest one and why I'm really pumped that this guy is looking at BC. And I'm going to answer a question. We'll kick this off. From our Everydayers Club. Now, if you're part of the Everydayers Club, you can shoot me questions, you can talk to me, and I want to shout out Mark, who asked me this question. He said, basically, clearly Boston College needs to make a move at the coaching position for basketball. Is it wise to do it now, or should they wait until Father Leahy leaves? And that's a great question, and one I wanted to talk about on this show. Now, Father Leahy is slowly giving up the reins to Father Jack Butler. And depending on who you talk to, there's a feeling that when that change happens, there may be a newfound enthusiasm towards athletics from the higher ups. Now, how big that change will be depends on who you talk to. Some folks are skeptical. I am not. I think Father Jack has a better eye for the importance of athletics at a university than Father Leahy, who I think kind of was very hands off and didn't seem to grasp that piece. So I get this question because Earl Grant does need to go. BC won last night. That's a great story, but they are still in the basement of the ACC. They're one of the four teams that are battling to actually get out of the basement and into the ACC tournament. And if getting into the ACC tournament as the 15th seed is the marker of what a successful coach is going to be and earning him a year, that's pathetic. Honestly, like if you barely scrape in for the you missed it last year, scrape in this year, and that's what keeps you in. I don't know what to tell you. But most reports from reputable sources, whether it's Jeff Goodman or Trilly Donovan, who I'm telling you is a real person who knows stuff. And I've seen SI now and Geoff Borzello of ESPN. They're all saying the same thing, that Earl Grant is probably going to be gone. If he's going to be gone, do you make the move now? Knowing that Father Leahy is still around and that he is going to infuse his thoughts into everything, and that skepticism that he brings in, and that reluctance that we know he has towards spending money that BC needs to spend. Look, you can go over the last 20 years in every sport, and you can see his impact in these coaching searches, where BC, if they just spent a little bit more, could have brought an impact coach in football, in basketball, whatever the case may be. In things like and other things too, right? Like the stipend thing. BC was the only school in all of college football that voted against it. They were the slowest to get a basketball practice facility. Like it just goes on and on and on. And a lot of that has to do with Father Leahy. Do you want to have him impact in any conversation? You hope that at this point, Father Jack is taking more of the reins, and that Father Leahy, even though he's stepping out, knows that it should be the new president's job to rubber stamp whoever this new coach is going to be. But I understand that. I say this, though. as I just said, I think Father Jack will get more of the final say. And I think his voice is going to get heard louder now than Father Leahy's would in the search now. The board is going to listen to Father Leahy a little bit, but the board also knows, the board of trustees, that it's now Father Jack's job. And if Father Jack wants to spend a little extra to get Joe Gallo here, or if they're looking at, another coach that costs a little bit more, and he thinks they should do that, and Father Leahy is like, they're going to listen to Father Jack more, I think. So to me, I think it's wise to do it now. I think Father Leahy's influence will not be as impactful as some may think it will be. I think you need to do this as soon as possible. You cannot go another season with crowds like we just saw tonight, and the last time they were home. Like, I know tonight was a rescheduled game after a blizzard, but there was zero, like 10 minutes before tip off, there was zero students there. And I don't blame them for a second. Look, going to these games is painful. If you're a student, you might have a million other things that you need to do, classes to study for, other, friends to hang out with. For me, when it was my age, I was playing GoldenEye, but like whatever they're doing now, like to hang out and do stuff. It's no longer the vogue thing to do to go to basketball games because it's painful to watch. Wednesday night's win was nice, but that's a unicorn type game for BC. Like, that doesn't happen that often. So you can't do this again. You cannot let Conte Forum just be empty. You need to infuse some excitement. And everything I've heard about Father Jack is that he likes to win. He's a competitive guy that gets athletics. And so even if Father Leahy's here, he's got to know to some piece of his core that things have to change and that they got to get going now. And they got to start before all of this college sports just kind of goes away and BC's left behind. So I think they should do it now. Now, as I said before, I think this is a critical year to do it. And I'm, if you're an everydayer here, my coach that I want Joe Gallo here. He's my pick. And I don't think he'll cost you all that much. That's the other piece, right? The perfect coach for BC, in my opinion, Joe Gallo, is not going to be that expensive. You can get him reasonably. It's going to be all the other things that they're going to have to work on, but you can kind of kick that can down the road a little bit until June, when the portal is really kind of juicing up a little bit. Actually May, but at least that gives you another month or two to do it. So I think, thank you, Mark, for the question. And if you want to be part of that Everydayers Club, details are in the show notes. You can join. You have to be part of the all access tier, but you get First Cup with AJ. You get a couple new episodes every week. When there's more to talk about, I'm going to keep doing it. Today, there will not be a new First Cup with AJ because I just didn't have the time to do it. But I already put up a few this week that even if you sign up today, you can go back and get access to all of those. Like if you're on Spotify and you see those locks, they'll unlock it for you. So join now. Become part of that all access tier. The details are in the show notes. I hope you join. Now, in a moment, football recruiting is heating up, and the biggest official visit of the season announced on Tuesday. I'll explain who this is and why I am pumped that he's coming to Boston College for a visit. I'll explain what I mean by that in just a moment.
I'm Clea Butler, host of Locked On Women's Basketball, and this is Mazda's Women's Basketball Snapshot, celebrating the work no highlight reel can ever capture. South Carolina rolled past Ole Miss 85-48 to clinch a share of the SEC regular season title and lock down the number 1 seed in the conference tournament. The Gamecocks extended their win streak over Ole Miss to 21 straight. UCLA dominated Wisconsin 80-60 to secure its first outright Big Ten regular season championship in program history. The Bruins improved to 27-1 overall and remain unbeaten in conference play. And number 12 TCU stormed back from a 13-point fourth quarter deficit to beat Iowa State 80-73. The Horned Frogs now sit alone atop the Big 12 standings and are one win away from clinching another regular season conference crown. These moments are earned off the clock, those long before the lights ever come on. The sweat, the fakes, the doubt, the scrapes, and coming back for more every time. Mazda puts that same drive into every detail. Wins define the moment, putting in the work, that defines you. There's more to a Mazda because there's more to you.
Ever wanted to experience the NBA Finals live and in person? Well, FanDuel is giving you the chance to turn that dream into reality with their NBA sweepstakes. Here's how it works. Use your profit boost on any NBA future, and you'll automatically be entered for a shot to win an NBA Finals trip for two. That's right, flights, tickets, the whole experience. I love futures this time of year for the Celtics, whether it's picking the Celtics to win the championship or grab a top conference title. I just love the odds, especially with Jason Tatum coming back. It adds that extra layer of excitement to every game down the stretch, especially when they're playing so well. All you got to do is visit FanDuel.com to get started. Use your profit boost on an NBA future and get you entered for a chance to win a trip to the NBA Finals. Play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Locked on BC, AJ Black here. Thank you all who made Locked on BC part of your daily routine. And thank you all who have joined part of our Everydayers Club. As I just said, we got Mark here asking questions that I'm answering here on the show. You get Locked on age, you get AJ's first couple episodes a week. You get texts from me. You get all these good stuff. All you got to do is sign up in the show notes. Now, I want to tell you about the biggest official visit for BC so far this offseason, and I want to tell you who that is. So Boston College is recruiting in a different level now and changing how they're recruiting based off of previous seasons. You have Kenyatta Watson, your new GM, who's really putting an emphasis in states like Georgia and Florida, where he has a ton of connections. You brought in a new running backs coach, Mike Hart, who really can, I think, bring recruiting at the running back level to a higher level than Savon Huggins. And Savon Huggins did a nice job. I'm not doubting him. I'm just saying Hart has a history. He can do this to a higher extent. So I was surprised in a good way when I heard BC's newest official visitor, and he put up the new graphic, and that is Sagarian Gunsby. Sagarian Gunsby is from Vanguard in Florida. It's Ocala, Florida. And he's going to be coming to Boston College on June 12th for his official visit. Again, official visits are a big deal. This is what shows you that this kid is actually serious about Boston College, and Boston College is serious about him. Now, Gunsby is a running back. He's 6'0". He's about 190 pounds, and he's got a solid offer list. So he's from Florida. Florida State has offered him. Honestly, I'll tell you right now, I found out about his announcement from a Florida State 247 writer. That tells you that they are engaged with him. He also has offers from Pitt, Syracuse, South Florida, and then some Tulane, a few smaller schools. But it's the interest from a Florida State in Florida that shows me there's something there. And BC is the first school to get an official visit from him. He hasn't announced anything else yet. Now, what is it about Gunsby that makes me excited? He plays in Florida and had quite the first season. Last season in Florida. He had 10 touchdowns with 700 rushing yards, 3 tackles and an interception, but that doesn't matter because he's being recruited as a running back. He looks like the perfect fit for BC. This is you've seen Watson make these offers, and I've been waiting to see how it kind of all falls together, right? You get offers to these Florida and Georgia kids, but many of them he's offering are 4 stars, and I'm just like, yeah, it's great you're offering. Are they actually going to do anything with this, or is it just going to kind of, hey, I'm going to put a graphic up and say, great, thank you for offering me, and I'm just going to move on to going to one of the SEC schools. I have been very interested to see who actually accepts and goes that next level. Now, my Eagle Insider folks know Cedric Oatman, a linebacker from Florida as well. He's going to take an unofficial visit, but another Florida recruit, and he's got an offer from Cal. So you're starting to see that these kids that are coming up from the Georgia and Florida area are starting to make their decisions, and many of them are going to take unofficials, but some of them may not. Some of them may just go ahead and take the official visit. Maybe it's a money thing, right? It's not cheap to take your whole family up from Georgia and Florida to Boston on an unofficial when you can just have the school pay for it in June. But this kid, Gunsby, I think could be a nice, really good addition. He doesn't have a ranking yet on 247, but that doesn't mean anything yet. That does for this one. I mean, he's got a Florida State offer. He's going to be a solid recruit. And this just showcases where BC is going, right? You're starting to see it's really interesting because BC recruiting right now is relatively quiet compared to what other schools are at. Because hey, if you're a Southern school, you can have all sorts of visits right now. You don't have to worry about blizzards that put out 2 feet of snow, while schools like Syracuse, BC, and Pitt don't think it's wise to bring up kids from Ocala, Florida in January and February when it's not a dead period. I know it's a dead period right now. And showcase what it's like to be in 10-degree weather. So I like this. This is a great addition in terms of adding to your official visit list. And, I think you're going to start to see more and more. What this class size is going to look like is going to be very interesting. I don't think it's going to be huge. I don't get the sense that this will be more than 20 because you don't have a ton of guys leaving, and you can't really, as much as you want to plan ahead for transfer portal leaves, you're going to have to basically, you have to, at this point, in my opinion, plan for transfer portal departures as guys you're going to get in the transfer portal and replacement. You can't just plan on replacing them with freshmen. It just doesn't work that way. So I like this. I think this is going to be something to watch for. And this Gunsby has been he even thanked Mike Hart in his tweet about coming up. That's interesting because I just literally talked to somebody else who's taking an official visit, and he's saying, he's like, yeah, the guy I talked to is Jordan Thomas. Jordan Thomas is gone. So it's with the changing staff. This is the first one for Thomas. I mean, for Mike Hart. And you're starting to see that these newer coaches get out there. I just saw the new defensive backs coach going out and making a few offers as well. And sorry, Jules Montanar couldn't think of his name for a second. His name just does not stick with me, but he's made a few new offers as well. And you're going to see more and more of those from guys like him and Mike Hart as well. Now, in our final segment, let's get into our freshmen. One more freshman we need to talk about. It's Cedric, not one more, one today that we're going to talk about, and it's a running back. Addison. Sorry about that. A little glitch there, and we'll get into him in just a moment. The biggest stretch of the college basketball season is almost here. Buzzer beaters, bracket busters, and those unforgettable moments that everyone's talking about the next day. Being there live for something like that, that's bucket list stuff. The hard part is actually getting tickets. Long queues, prices jumping around, and surprise fees at checkouts. The Game Time app is giving fans the advantage with constant innovation. It's unlocking amazing tickets and experience in a few tap. It's incredibly easy to use. The Game Time guarantee means 100% legitimate tickets delivered on time and the best price. And here's the best part. Fees are included in the price you see. What you pay for is what you get. The seat view is incredible. I've used it multiple different sports, whether it's BC football or Woo Sox. I've used it to get that. I'm going to actually probably look into get some wrestling tickets as well. So take the guesswork out of buying college basketball tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app. Create an account and use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Welcome to the 5-hour energy flavor draft with 18 different flavors to choose from, including new options like confetti craze, fruity rainbow, or cotton candy. There's something for everyone. The board is set, the flavors are ready, and I've got my number one pick for the 5-hour energy flavor draft. I just love their fruity rainbow flavor. It is delicious, and it's a contender. It's got to be one of the contenders for one of the best that they have here. And the reason why I love it, it's like a fruity candy, like in a drink. Like it's sweet layered fruits in every sip with playful multi fruity taste profile, smooth and easy drinking texture, and nostalgic candy bag flavor impression. I love it. You could try it yourself. 5-hour energy shots give you a boost with zero sugar. You mentioned that you want something like this. You got to try it out. It's a limited time flavor, so you're going to love to see if you want to get it. Find your favorite flavor of 5-hour energy shots available online at 5hourenergy.com or on Amazon. This is Locked On Boston College. AJ Black here, and I want to talk to you about the 2026 recruits. But before I do that, for your next listen, check out Locked On ACC and make sure I did a late night episode last night on BC's basketballs. Check that out on YouTube or wherever you get your podcast. Now, Cedric Addison, I think, is a name that BC fans are going to know very quick because he is a 5'11 running back, 200 pounds from Duluth, Georgia, played at Peachtree Ridge. And this is a kid that was a 3-star recruit, but was probably one of the handful of recruits that BC had to fend off quite a few Power 5 schools to land him. He had offers from like Kansas State and Georgia Tech. He had a bunch of bigger, Power 4 schools, not bigger, but solid Power 4 schools that really wanted him, and ended up at BC. He ran for 900 yards of total offense. He registered 900 yards of total offense in 2025. He's a track star, ran a 10.82 100-yard dash. So he's quick. And I think when I think of Cedric Addison, this is one of those freshmen that we could be talking about quicker. Like I talked about Dom Funk and Femi Babalola. Those are guys I think that are going to take a year or two before we start to actually talk about them playing a role on this team. I don't get that sense with Cedric Addison. Interestingly, he was recruited by Savon Huggins, so Huggins is gone. But we'll have to wait to see how he kind of connects with Mike Hart. Obviously with a new positional coach, things change. Who knows? But hopefully he fits in well and Hart connects with him. Because with a back like this, I could see him jumping up quickly in the depth chart. I don't want to call him like the next Turbo Richard, but like he's a guy after your Nolan Rays and your Evan Dickens. I could argue he could easily, as a back that could handle the pounding of being a college back. I could see him jumping a Bo McCormick or a Mekhi Dodd to get a bigger spot on this roster. So with Cedric, I don't believe he's an early enroll. I could be wrong there, but you're looking at how the running backs is going to work this year. There's no established back yet, right? I argued earlier this week that Nolan Ray is my pick to be the go-to back this year, but Evan Dickens is going to play well in this offense as well. There's no reason a guy that's 5'11", 200 pounds doesn't find a spot on this roster. Injuries happen at running back. He's just a bigger back than I think of when I watch Bo McCormick. And I don't know anything about Mekhi Dodd yet. I just haven't seen enough of him to get a good gauge of what he could do. So I look at Cedric Addison and say, as long as he has some good camp work here, this is a guy that's going to make the 2 deep pretty quick. He's not going to be a running back that reminds you of like an Andre Williams or AJ Dillon. Those are bigger backs. But, a solid back that, you look at a Kai Robichaux, he's a little bit smaller than Kai Robichaux. With his speed profile, to me, the name that kind of makes me think of what he could do is Trayshawn Ward. Trayshawn Ward was around the same size. Now, Trayshawn Ward, I felt was a really good pass catching running back. For some reason, they got away from him halfway through the year, but I thought he was a good pass catching running back, and that kind of reminds me of Addison in terms of just his size, but the pass catching is a little bit different. So the speed is what I think reminds him. So if I'm going to comp anybody, Ward's the closest comp because he's not Jordan McDonald. He's bigger than Turbo's 2'5'8", and Alex Brum's like 5'6". And then guys like Kai Robichaux was bigger and things like that. So more recent guys, I'm gonna go with Trayshawn Ward with him. Our show. Thank you for listening. My name's AJ Black. You can follow me on Twitter at AJ Black 247. I'm over on Eagle Insider as well. We have lots of recruiting news going up there. We have basketball news. We got all sorts of good stuff. Here, you get lots of shorts. You get lots of videos. This is where you need to go if you want video content on your BC Eagles. You're not going to find it anywhere else. Thank you all, and hopefully you become part of my Everydayers Club because I'd love to see you over there as well. And I'll see you all again soon for another episode of Locked On Boston College, your team every day.